Alright guys, today is an episode of the best of the rest, basically taking a look at some of the weekend's action. Yeah, I've picked out, well, it's the three games that I watched. Uh, I The first one I'm going to talk about I didn't actually watch live. I watched a replay on Sky of it. It was Chelsea v Wolves. And yeah, from the replay that I watched, it was quite a good game. Chelsea were the dominant side for an hour, and Wolves just got better at the end. And I think there's positives and negatives to take away for both teams. Chelsea, the positive is that they played quite good football. Lukaku is back in the goals, which is good. But also they did blow a 2-goal lead, so not so good. Wolves, not great defensively again, but they did look good going forward in the last half an hour of the game, which they haven't recently, so that's a positive for them. The first half, Wolves did have a couple of chances. Dendonk probably had the pick of them, but it was all about Chelsea really. They had a goal disallowed for offside. Loftus-Cheek managed to squeeze it in at the far post. But yeah, it was rightfully disallowed. And then Romain Saiss, for the second week running, gave away a penalty. And it's the second week in a row Wolves have conceded a stupid penalty. Lukaku was got the ball and Saiss is on the floor and he's just kicked out at Lukaku. He's not like intentionally kicked Lukaku, but it's rash and he swung a leg that's like, there's always a chance it could hit Lukaku. Probably a better chance of hitting Lukaku than the ball. Lukaku tucks away the penalty, and then 2 minutes later, Connor Cody tries to play a pass out to the right hand side, but just like tries to play it through Ruben Neves for some reason, hits Neves. Chelsea player intercepts it. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Werner. Plays it to Lukaku. This is what Lukaku does best. He doesn't even need to have a look at where the goal is. Turns on his weaker foot, curls it round Jose Sa right into the far corner. And yeah, brilliant finish to make it 2-0 and double Chelsea's lead. But then Wolves made a couple of substitutions, which I believe changed the game. They brought on Chiquinho and Francisco Trincao. Chiquinho, when I watch him, he's not a bad player. Trincao, I think, has had a bit of a disappointing season. I think maybe you'd have expected a little bit more from him with his loan from Barcelona. But they combined on a counter attack. Trincao cuts inside left foot and hits it into the top corner. Sort of hits it early and catches Edouard Mendy out a little bit. Really good goal though. And then right at the end of the game, Chiquinho crosses it in. Connor Cody's gone forward, gets his head on it and equalises, makes it 2-2. And yeah, it's another disappointing game for Chelsea ultimately in the end. I know I said there were positives to take from it, but it is still, dropping 2 points to it. I'm not going to say mid-table because that's a bit harsh on Wolves, but a team that are currently playing like a mid-table team, if you understand what I mean from their form over the past couple of months. So yeah, that will feel disappointing for Chelsea. Having said that, they didn't have their best side out. They rested Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, Kante. I don't know if Jorginho gets in their best team anymore, but he didn't play either. It wasn't exactly Chelsea's strongest lineup, but it's still, not great. And yeah, Wolves, for one, at least they had a bit of like an edge to them going forward. So if they can, I was going to keep that up for the rest of the season, but I don't know how many games they got left. They have got Man City and Liverpool, which isn't going to be easy, but yeah, they'll try their best, I'm sure. And then we have the results of the weekend. Brighton beating Man United 4-0. I know United have been poor this season, but I don't think many people saw this one coming. Brighton just absolutely battered Man United. I watched this game in the pub just outside Anfield before I went to watch Liverpool Tottenham, and the amount of Liverpool fans just laughing, like it was just, everyone was just ripping the piss out of United. Um, the just the defending was poor. Every single one of them United defenders is average, and I include Raphael Varane in that. Varane, to me, has been average. He hasn't been bad, but he's been average since he's joined United. And I think Diogo Dalot and Telles defensively are both poor. Like, poor. Like, you can argue that they're all right going forward, but you need some level of defensive ability. Like, people say Trent Alexander-Arnold's poor defensively. He's not. He's not the best defensively, but he's got the standard level of defensive ability needed for an attacking fullback in a very dominant side. Dalot and Telles don't have that. And yeah, the first goal, far too easy from Telles to let the Brighton player, I think it might have been McAllister, just control the ball inside his own box. And it gets laid off to Caicedo, hits a shot low and hard through Lindelof's legs, and De Gea can't react in time, and it goes just inside the near post. Second one, well, they scored 3 in the first 15 second half minutes. The first one came from Marc Cucurella, cross gets put in, Trossard picks it up at the back post, and he has literally all the time in the world to pick out one of 2 players on the edge of the box, Cucurella being one of them. And when it comes to Cucurella, he just whips it into the near top corner. Brilliant strike. And you could see how much the goal meant to him in the celebrations. His first for Brighton and his first in English football. And I thought the subs at half-time that Rangnick made were a bit strange. I thought, why is he taking his wide players off here? Like, if there's a wide player on the pitch there, you'd hope that if you're a United fan, that one of them tracks back and closes down the space of that's occupied by Cucurella in that situation. But no, like he put Cavani on to go up front with Ronaldo, which was never going to solve anything, because if Ronaldo's not getting any service, then what's adding another striker going to do in that situation is just strange to me. And I don't mind Rangnick, to be honest. I think it's a very tough job being Man United manager at the moment. But I think in his press conferences he does talk a lot of sense. But that talking a lot of sense doesn't make you a good football manager. Is the thing. The third goal, just again far too easy. It came from a long kick up the field from Robert Sanchez. Trossard lays it off to, I think it might have been Welbeck, and he lays it off to Pascal Gross, who takes it round the Man United defender and slots it past David De Gea. And the fourth, Danny Welbeck gets played through, chips it over De Gea. Dalot gets back on the line, and that was a good defensive moment from Dalot, to be fair, but can only flick it straight on to Trossard, who sort of bundles it in to make it 4. And yeah, I mean, absolutely shocking. And Brighton could have scored a couple of more. Welbeck had a long shot right at the end that just went wide. And also, Dalot nearly scored an own goal when he, to be fair, again, he did well to get back and to stop McAllister from tapping in, but it could have gone in effectively. And I mean, it's just absolutely shocking from Man United. And Ten Hag's got one hell of a job on his hands to get this lot into shape, I think. But from Brighton, absolutely brilliant. And the final game I watched this weekend that I haven't already covered is Arsenal v Leeds, 2 o'clock on Sunday. And I mean, this game was over in the first half, really. I suppose even though there was only 2 goals scored, Eddie Nketiah 5 minutes in, just like capitalises on a moment of madness from Ilham Meslier. The ball's come at him, and Mellier's taken a touch when he can see Nketiah charging at him. Nketiah wins the ball and manages to get it into the back of the net with a slight tackle. And then Nketiah makes it 2 when Martinelli goes down the left-hand side, crosses it in, and Nketiah manages to sort of guide it in with his left foot. He doesn't put a load of power on it, just redirects it into the bottom corner, making it 2-0. And then I said Meslier had a moment of madness. If I call that a moment of madness, I don't know what to call this from Luke Ayling. Martinelli is sort of struggling to keep the ball in the pitch. He just about does it. And Ayling just comes charging at him, 2 feet off the ground. He wins the ball and he doesn't take much of Martinelli. Like there's no stud to the shin or anything. I think he might have, I don't know, brushed his foot, but there wasn't any contact that hurt Martinelli, basically, that he got away with it unscathed. But it was ridiculously forceful, ridiculously dangerous, and ridiculously stupid from Luke Ayling. And he deserved the red card. In fact, he deserves the 3-game ban, because it just idiotic. And I don't know how the ref didn't send him off first time. Stupid. Carragher was right, and he also raised the point that Luke Ayling could have just played his last ever Premier League game there, because if Leeds go down, Luke Ayling's I think he's around the age of 30, so I mean, hopefully he has another 5 years left of his career yet. There's no guarantee that Leeds will come straight back up again. So yeah, ridiculous. But the one player I do want to give a bit of credit for Leeds is Diego Llorente. Obviously, he scored the goal, but he also stopped a goal, a certain goal on the goal line from an Odegaard free kick, which Meslier parried and fell. I think it was falling to, it might have been Nketiah for his hat-trick, and he manages to just get there and hook it away off the goal line. And he obviously scored the goal as well. Flick on from a corner, he peels off around the back post and volleys it home to make it 2-1 and get Leeds back into the game. But they win. You never know. It's only 1 goal behind, isn't it? And he also probably stopped Rafinha from getting himself sent off, because Rafinha needed to be subbed, didn't he? Because there was no way that he was lasting the entire second half without at least coming very close to getting a red card. He was showing himself to be very hot-headed. And Martinelli had a great game again as well, on just causing Leeds all sorts of problems. Nearly got himself a goal in the second half. But yeah, Leeds are in big trouble now. Arsenal are definitely the favourites now to get top 4. It's not guaranteed yet, but if they win it against Spurs on Thursday, then it is. And yeah, Leeds, they've got a massive job on their hands if they're to stay up now. I think Everton are probably going to be safe. I think it really depends on how Burnley do. So yeah, the chips are down on Leeds, but will they stay up? That is the big question. I personally don't think they will now. Which is strange, because only about 3 weeks ago, maybe, I made a video about who's going to go down, Everton or Burnley. I didn't even consider Leeds. I thought they were safe, but their poor form recently has dragged them right back into it, and they're probably the favourites to go down now. So yeah, it will be interesting to see. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.